Hey, Tony Gaskins here. I want to talk to you today about moving on. Now, I get this question over and over again in different ways. And the way it happens is someone will say, how do you get over someone you've been with for 7 years, but you don't have children together? Then someone will say, how do you get over someone you were married to for 15 years and you have 3 children together? How do you get over someone you were with for 10 years and you have a child together, 4 years? So it's like everybody's trying to get over someone, but it's all different scenarios. And yes, sometimes it can be a little different, but at the end of the day, it's still the same steps you take. So whether you're leaving after 1 year or 50 years, you still have to take the same steps. You just may have to do it a little bit more intensely if you were with that person longer. Then the other key factor is you have to ask yourself, how toxic was the relationship? So if it was like your normal kind of arguing, disagreements, just kind of, getting into it type stuff, that is every relationship. That happens a lot. Now, if it was, knocked down, drag out, like it was really, really bad, like crying every day, if you went through, police involvement, different stuff like that, like it got really intense to where, blood, sweat, and tears, all three, then that's when it was super intense in a different way. And that's when you have to intensify the measures that you take to move on. So here's the thing. The first thing you're gonna have to do, you won't be able to stop your mind from working. You won't be able to stop your brain from working, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't. So you're gonna think about your ex all the time, randomly, intentionally. You're gonna think about your ex. That's just a part of it. No matter what you're doing, you can be reading a book, you can be listening to a book, you can be listening to this video, watching this video. You're going to think about your ex. You could be in church. You could be on the toilet. You could be laying down to go to sleep. It could wake you up out of a dream. You could have a dream about your ex. It's just the way the mind works. The mind replays situations and scenarios that you've gone through, and especially where there was a chemical release from the brain. So when you were extremely happy, when you were extremely mad, when you were extremely sad, depressed, that etched the moment in your life, in your brain. Your brain took that, it felt it, it had a response to it, that went through your bloodstream, and it was etched in your memory. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's just the way the brain works. So you're going to remember it. Now here's the thing. The mistake that people make is trying to numb it. So some people will try to, numb it by just staying busy all the time, just staying busy all the time. And it's good to be busy, but you also want to be productive. You want to be moving the right way. Some people will, see how I throw that hand up there like this? This when somebody got something new they want you to see. That this old Airmaid bracelet my wife bought me in London. So I had to do like this and hold it right there so you could get a good look at it. And so some people, they want you to, they want to stay busy. They want to be busy all the time, just nonstop, but they're not being productive. So you have to understand that. You have to make sure that you're not just being busy just to try to block it out your mind, because at the end of the night, you can't be busy. You can't be busy. So you don't want to try to numb it with any type of substance. A lot of times people, they've tried something in their life and they know the effects of it and what it does to the brain and how it just kind of, sends you into, another world, another planet. And so you want to use that. That's not going to help you, because yes, you see, that's what I call running from it instead of running through it. So this is what you have to realize. Let's say you have nothing to do today and your ex comes up on your mind. You may think about your ex all day long. But when you think about your ex, you have to talk to yourself, coach yourself, remind yourself of why you left. Remind yourself of what you did wrong. It's what I call watching the game film. You played in a game, the football game on Sunday, soccer game, lacrosse game, whatever game. On Monday, you sit down, you take the film, and you go through the film. You see every play that you were a part of, what you did right, what you did wrong, if anything, what you need to change before the next game. You watch the game film, and so as you're thinking about your ex, that is watching the game film. So if you thinking about your ex, you literally should be there and like, you know what? When he yelled at me in that third month, that was month 3, and he yelled at me, and it was for no reason. Now you sitting by yourself. You ain't on the phone with me. You ain't about this. This is what you doing by yourself. It was for no reason. I should have known then, and I froze. I remember just freezing, like, whoa, are you yelling at me right now? And I thought it was kind of cute. I thought it was a little sexy. I was like, wow, okay, you got that in you? Okay, I like that. Right then, I should have checked him. I should have checked him and said, do not raise your voice at me. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by watching the game film. Now, have you ever done that? Now, yes. Right now, you watching me do it, you gonna say, if somebody catch me doing that, they gonna think I'm crazy. They very well may. My wife catch me doing it all the time. Not game film with an ex, but I just be talking to myself. I be talking to myself, and she'll walk in, talking to someone, and now it's an inside joke with us because she catch me doing it all the time. So, wow, slavery held you down 400 years, huh? You got emancipated? Like, I'll be talking about something, and then I walk into the room, and she been sitting there listening, and then she'll pick up on my conversation. But hey, that's how I train my brain. That's how I exercise my mind. You know, that's how I could come on here and I could talk for an hour, be quick with it, just going, because I talk to myself. You got to talk to yourself, because what you're doing when you're talking to yourself, you are healing that situation. So it's kind of like when you coding a website or a video game, that's what your brain is doing. It's coding. So it's coding your life, your experiences. It's going through and it's etching it in there. And it's etching it into your long-term memory every time you think about it. So when you take and you stop it and you address it and you say what you should have done in that moment, you just recode that experience, because now you turn it from a mistake into a lesson. It was a mistake. But if you don't address the mistake, it remains a mistake. And then guess what? You'll do the same thing again. And so you'll go into your next relationship and it'll just be deja vu. And you'll be like, whoa, I've gone through this before. And you'll handle it the same way you handled it the first time if you didn't watch the game film. So you'll get yelled at again, but in the next time, he might yell at you on day 30 instead of day 90. And you're like, oh, you got that in you? That's a little sexy. You do the same exact thing you did the first time. But if you watch the game film and you talk to yourself and you saw what you did wrong and what you should have done, the next time you go through it, that recode going, don't you ever raise your voice at me. He's going to be like, whoa. And then guess what? Now, as you watch the game film the first time, you taught yourself what you should have done. So you go through the scenarios. So you say, don't you ever raise your voice at me. Then you go through, okay, you picture him, I'm gonna yell at you. You don't tell me what to do. Who do you think you are? Ugh. So you go through that. That maybe didn't even happen, but you go through that. And then you picture yourself. I lost my remote. Oh, here it goes. Yes. I'm at 123 Main Street. Can you send an officer over here? And immediately, everything's under control, but I need an officer over here right now. Yes, I can wait while you're on the line. And then you go through that. So you saw that in the vision. So this how you gonna handle. He put hands on you. Boom. It's day 90. What are you doing? Don't call the police. No, don't call the police. No. But you saw that happen. So you go through the scenarios. See, this is the thing. A lot of times we fear the unknown because we have not seen it. But when you see it, you no longer have to fear it. So, and I'm giving you my own training. And this is how I test myself in every area. This is how I stay faithful to my wife. I go through every type of test a woman could possibly put me through. Every type of scenario a woman could possibly put me through. And then I see myself succeeding and I see myself failing. And when I see myself succeed, I know the feeling. When I see myself fail, I look at the results. I see myself in divorce court. I see myself visiting my sons on the weekend. I see myself, my wife being stone cold with me. I see me losing everything, my brand, my company, just my mind. So I walk through the process. So you know what? That helps me stay faithful because I've seen the other side. See, you have to see the other side. You're going to have to sit there, watch the game film, get a lesson from it. When you get the lesson from your mistakes, and now some things, if you don't know love and relationships, you new here, you might need to hit the subscribe button so you could stay here. But if you don't know love and relationships, you might not know where you made a mistake. And that's what I'm doing on a session with a client is we going through that whole relationship. My client might be talking 40 minutes and I'm taking notes as he or she is talking. And I'm taking notes and then I'm saying, okay, so when this happened, what did you do? And then the client may be like, I didn't do anything. It caught me off guard. I just didn't expect it. I say, okay, that's where you went wrong. Now you realize that now? Wow, I didn't realize that was wrong. But now that you say that, yeah, I realized that was wrong. I should have checked him on that. And I say, so the fact that you didn't, you reinforce that behavior. You strengthen his language in that area. He became more fluent in verbal abuse from that incident right there, or physical or emotional. He became more fluent speaking that language because you were inactive. You didn't respond to it in the right way. So you reinforced it in the negative way. And we go through that. Now it's etched in the mind. You saw the game film. Next game, you're going to get it right. So you have to go through. This is how you get over your ex. This is how you move on. And see, what you got to realize is it's all just retraining your brain. And you're not running from it. You're running through it. And so this is the thing. It's kind of like anything you do. When you do it over and over and over and over and over and over, eventually you get tired of it. So here you are, and that's what a lot of people call burnout. So when you think about your ex over and over and over, you think about the situation over and over and over, eventually it's going to build strength. And you coaching yourself and consoling yourself through it. Sometimes you may have an accountability partner that's okay and they're going to speak life into you. They're going to speak wisdom into you and they're going to help you heal. Sometimes you may not, and you may have to do it alone, but you keep going through it. And as you process it, it may always be there. It may always sting a little bit, but I always say, if you're doing the work your day 70 will not be like your day 7. 70 will not be like 7. What I mean by that is on day 7, you may be curled up in the fetal position. But if you do the work, you thinking about it, you going through it, you getting new knowledge, you coaching yourself, you watching the videos, you reading the books or listening to the books, you feeding your spirit positivity, you listening to good music, you watching good stuff on television or YouTube, and you doing that, by day 70, you're going to be in a much different place than you were in on day 7. And that's what you got to realize. So that's what you're doing mentally. That's the mental work that you're doing. Now, in the physical, you have to be able to create separation. If you've taken the Soul Ties course on TonyGastonAcademy.com, you already heard this, and I've mentioned this in other videos too, but I know some people see certain videos and not others, so I'm going to go back through it. You have to look at the severity of the relationship, and you got to cut ties. Now, here's the thing. If it was extremely bad, then you may cut ties with the person and also cut ties with all of their friends and all of their family. If it was extremely bad and you need to heal with a quickness. If it was extremely bad, then you may not only have to stop contacting and being contacted, you may have to block their phone number and don't answer any number that's not in your phone. I never understood that. People say, I blocked his phone number, but he keeps calling me from other phone numbers. I'm like, you answer the phone? I guess I done dealt with too many bill collectors in my life to answer numbers that's not in my phone. And so maybe you ain't never had no bill collector. You answer every phone call. I never understood that. Because me, myself, and I'm not answering the phone if that number is not in my phone already. So you're going to have to go through a period where you stop answering the phone if it's not in your contact list and let them leave a message. Because understand, that could be your ex trying to call you or text you. Don't answer anybody's phone call that's not in your phone. If their family member calls you, don't answer it. Let them leave a voicemail. If their mutual friend, if their friend calls you or y'all's mutual friend calls you, don't answer it. Let them leave a voicemail. And that's what happens sometimes when you're trying to cut somebody off or you've cut somebody off. They'll have mutual people call you and to see if you answer their phone call. Then they know, oh, you answering phone calls, you just ain't answering mine. And that mutual person may or may not mention the person who told them to call and check on you. And so it's all toxic. It's all toxic. It's just that lets you know you dealing with a special kind of individual that you need to stay far away from. Go on about your business because they know ain't nothing wrong with you, but they sending other people to call you. That's when you know you dealing with what y'all like to label with the word y'all like to use, okay? Now, understand this here now. So, when you cut these ties, it just depends. So, if you look at your relationship and you put it you could grade it on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 was the absolute worst. Then you have a different grading scale. So for a 1 to a 4 or a 1 to 5, you may say, I'm going to stop answering his text or her text or phone calls, and I'm not going to talk to mutual friends or their family members for at least 30 days. Now, see, if you got a 6 through 10, you may say, or maybe like a 6 through 8, you may say, I'm going to not talk to my ex, not talk to mutual friends or their family, my ex, period, mutual friends and mutual family, 3 months. Now you make this up for yourself. I'm just kind of walking you through this. You come up with your own little terms and timelines. Now let's say you got a 9 through 10, 9 or 10. At that point, you may say, I'm going to block my ex and for good, and I'm cutting off his or her family and his or her friends for good. And I'm going to block them, and I'm unfriending on Facebook everybody connected to him, and I'm unfollowing on Instagram everybody connected to him. And so in some cases, it may be you unfollowing, unfriending. In other cases, you may be unfriending and blocking, unfollowing and blocking. And then when you start to see his posts or people he knows posts on your popular page, you just click the little 3 dots. You know, when you're looking at the picture, they got the little 3 dots at the bottom right here or at the top. I'm shooting on my phone, so I can't check. And you click it and it'll say, see fewer posts like this. Because every now and then on my popular page, I have booties, or down booties. And I'm like, is this from me looking at a rapper's, you know how they have all the rappers, they be talking, they be saying stuff. And I'm like, why is this on my page? Because I only follow my wife and my 2 sons and my mentor on Instagram. So I have to click on the post, and I click it and click see fewer posts like this. Anything that's going to defile my spirit, that's going to disrupt my spirit, I'm see fewer posts like this. So that's what you got to do. If it's certain pages that's just they quotes keep making you think about your ex in a negative way, see fewer posts like this. If it ain't helping you heal, helping you grow, see fewer posts like this. On Facebook, I think they got hide these posts forever, hide this person post forever, mute this person. They got all kind of stuff. How is that TV on? Oh, I cut my TV on when I was calling the officer and cut my TV on. I'm like, what in the world? So understand this. You have to do this. Now, here's the biggest question that always comes. And it's not rocket science. It's Tony. What do I do if we have children together? You do the same thing. You do the same thing. It's just that y'all only have to have one line of communication, and that is about the child. But here's the thing. If the relationship was like a 8 through 10 in toxicity, like really bad, then you are not the contact. Now, if you don't feel safe with your child being with them, you let the courts know that you keep your child, and let the courts make you, and let this person that you know is sorry and toxic, they probably not even gonna go through with holding you contempt of court and going to court to get you in contempt of court and all that. So if they're not gonna do all that, then you just keep your child. Don't be giving your child to them if you don't feel they're gonna be safe and healthy and in a good space. So understand that. Now, if everything is copacetic, y'all decent, y'all cordial, y'all only talking about the child. That's it. No conversation, not how you doing, what you been up to, you seeing anyone new, none of that. Little Johnny is doing great. Here's his note from school. Little Sally doing great. Here's her note from school. Just like that. If it gets to a place to where it's super bad, you bring in reinforcement. Your best friend, your mama, your brother, your uncle, your cousin. They become the mediator. They become the contact for your ex to call to set up the meeting of picking up their child. And they go to a mutual place. I've been noticing people doing pickups and drop-offs at the parking lot of Walgreens, CVS, parking lot of McDonald's. I've been noticing couples doing pickups and drop-offs. I'm like, this is interesting. I said, I wonder if they listen to my video. It's just common sense. Because, I would think that one person would be driving to the other person's house and pulling up in the driveway, and then they walking out the child, but these people meeting up at a parking lot. So I'm guessing that's the way y'all already do it. I have not been through that situation, so I'm just using my sense on this from dealing with toxic relationships as a relationship coach. So that's what you go through. And remember, you always could escalate it. If the situation is very toxic and it's draining, you escalate your measures on what you need to do. So if you need to pass it off and put it on somebody else to be the mediator, the pick up and drop off person, then that's what you do. And when you do that, the other person, if they the toxic one, they may say, I ain't gonna talk to your mama. I ain't talking to nobody about my child but you. If I can't talk to you, then I ain't talking about it. All right, bye. We'll be just fine. We'd be better off without your toxic crazy behind. Go on about your business. Bye. See you later. You ain't scaring nobody. Ain't nobody mad about you not wanting to talk to my mama or my sister or whoever on this here situation. Bye. You got the good riddance. Good riddance. But a lot of times they're going to go ahead and talk to that person. And when they talk to that person, they may try to throw you under the bus. I really want to get back with her. I just don't know what happened. And they may be, if he talk dark and handsome, your mama or your sister or whoever may start to believe him. So you might want to use your brother. Your brother might start to believe him. It's some people so conniving, so sneaky, so manipulative, they can get anybody to believe them. And they gonna do it. They gonna sell it. And now if you got a little crazy in you, whoever you called in, they know you got a little crazy in you too. So they know you ain't innocent. So that's going to make them believe your ex even more. So you're going to be like, maybe y'all should work it out. Maybe y'all should give it a try. It's people have gone through so much worse. And you're going to hear all that. You got to know for yourself that it's time to move on. You done been through enough. You done tried it all. You tried to get coaching. You tried to read books together. You tried to watch YouTube videos together. You tried to go to seminars, retreats. Nothing worked. You got to move on with your life. When you know you got to move on, don't listen to nothing, no detractors, no distractions, and just go on about your business. And you got to implement the system that's going to work for you. Understand that. So now, listen, these are the things that you're doing physically. Use your common sense, okay? Use your common sense. Implement your plan that works for you. It could be a variation of this, what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be this specifically, okay? So you may unfollow on Instagram, but you may not want to block. All right, don't block. You may want to block. Okay, block. You may not want to block the phone number because you want to see just how crazy your ex is, just how many times they calling, just how many times they texting. You may want to see it. And with them chasing you and doing that, every call, every text message for you might be like a vitamin. It might be like a vitamin. If you in London, a vitamin might be like a vitamin that is empowering you, and you like, woo, yeah, I must got it. They chasing me, and that may empower you. And so you gotta see what fits best for you. You're an adult. You have agency over your life. You have to see what fits best for you. Now understand this. I should not have to say this, but of course, through all of this, you get in new knowledge. Understand this now. What you got to understand is that we have to pay a price for success, and we have to pay a price for failure. So what that means is some things gonna cost you. Something gonna cost you. I remember I bought a car. Wasn't necessarily a dream car, but it was a sports car. And this was probably 5 years ago or more. The car, retail $160,000, right? I get the car. I just went and got it one day, just feeling just whoa-eyed, like I don't reward myself. I'm in my home office. My wife, she took the back half of my office and turned it into a walk-in closet. I called myself mad about that. Oh, you taking my office. Nah, it turned out to be perfect. So she teased me all the time. Nah, you see, it was perfect, because if that office, if you still had all that room behind you, this thing would be echoing so bad. So our room is over here. And so she took and had them put this wall up right here. But this was a bedroom that go back further. She took, about this much space of it from this desk to this wall, or a little wider, about that much space, maybe a little wider. And she got a walk-in closet. That's the length of, from over there, from that wall all the way over here to this wall, with her little shelves up and all that, right? So I got mad about that. Oh, I ain't got nothing. So every now and then I catch my little attitude, trying to be normal. I be like, man, other people have arguments sometimes. We didn't really argue. You know what? I'm finna do something for me. I'm going to get me a car. I went and got the car. And the car looked good. Went to my son's school. Pulled up on the parking stop. The car low to the ground. The sports cars low to the ground. The car low to the ground. Pulled up over the parking stop. Went to bike up the parking stop. Pulled off my grill. Pulled the front bottom grill off. Went to the dealer. They say, yeah, this gonna be $1,500. I say, what? Driving down the road, hit a pothole. Boom. Bent my wheel. Called the wheel people. Yeah, that wheel is gonna run you $5,000. What? I say, there is a cost for our choices. It's a cost to success. It's a cost to failure. So I say that to say, when you trying to heal, a lot of time we want to escape scot-free. We want to just do what we want to do, and we don't want to have to pay no price. No, it's maintenance costs. In order to make, guess what? This video right here is costing you time. Let's say you get this book. Depending on where you got it, when you got it, that could be $30. Let's say you get this book. That might be another $15. That's $45. Let's say you get this book. That's $60. Let's say you get this book. Now you at $90. You at $90 right there. Let's say you say, man, look, I need 4 sessions with Tony, because I done watch his videos every day, and that's what will help me get through. Sessions is $275. So $250 times 4, that's $1,000. 25 times 4 is 100. That's $1,100. 4 sessions is $1,100. Now I have people who do a session every month. So if they do 12 sessions in a year, you see what I'm saying? There is a cost to your success, and it's a cost for failing. What I mean by that is you have to be okay with the pain of the lessons. Sometimes people say, well, I don't want to have to break my lease. This relationship is terrible, but I don't want to have to break my lease. Like, what? That's a lease. I don't want to hurt my credit. What? So you rather lose your life to a toxic relationship? Because see, even if the person don't send you to your grave, you increase your chances of dying by natural causes from the stress of a toxic relationship by 300 to 500%. There's been studies that say the worst form of stress on the body is relationship related stress. Worse than death-related stress, losing a family member, work-related stress, family-related stress, parenting-related stress, the worst form of stress, friendship-related stress. Think about this. You've been through stress with a friend who turned out to be crooked or selfish or greedy, lying, backbiting, backstabbing. You've been through stuff with family member where your mama, she nasty and just rude and spiteful. Your daddy, abandonment, whatever. Work related. You can't stand your boss. Your stomach turn. You got to sit in your car and pray and cry before you go into work. Death related stress. You done lost a best friend, lost a family member, mother, father. Worse than all of those stressors is a relationship stress, a toxic relationship stress. If you have ever been in a toxic relationship, then you know it hurts worse than every other thing I just mentioned. You know it hurts worse because it may linger longer. See, you could lose a family member, but you say, oh, they gone to a better place. It may hurt you. You may cry, but eventually you say they're going to a better place. They've been removed from the pain of this world, and you can console yourself. But when you're in a toxic relationship, there is no consolation. You just hurting. You crying, your stomach hurting, your head hurting. And guess what? You are trimming your life shorter. So what you got to understand is that you should not be complaining about watching no video for an hour when you're trying to heal your heart. You should not be complaining about what it's going to cost you to get transferred from your job to your job in another city or another part of town, or getting transferred from one department to another department because your ex is your coworker. You shouldn't be complaining about having to move apartment complexes or change churches because your ex lives there or goes there. Listen, to love is to gamble. When you try to love and you try to get into a relationship, you taking a gamble. And when you gamble, guess what? You lose more than you win. And if you keep going back to gamble, sometimes you end up losing it all. The same applies to love and relationships. You may lose a house, an apartment, a car, a job, a church family, a friend, a best friend. You may lose some things when you leave a relationship. That's all a part of the process. You have to embrace that pain. You have to embrace that struggle because it's going to make you wiser. It's going to make you stronger, and it is preparing you for greater. Because without the rain, you can't appreciate the sunshine. Without the pain, you can't appreciate the praise. You can't appreciate the process. You can't appreciate the prize. So you have to understand that it's going to be painful when you healing. It is going to be painful. It's intended to be painful. But pain is a healing agent. I remember when a man told a story about his son who his pain sensors did not work in his brain. So he would run to the hot stove. And as soon as the stove beat, he'll run and open the stove and stick his hand in there to get his cookie, to get the cookies that his mama was cooking. And he heard the stove, she ain't hear, he beat her to it, reach in there, whoo, put that hand on that hot cookie. Come out, hand burnt, start to blister up. He couldn't feel it. He didn't have pain sensors in his hand. And because of that, the body would not start to heal. The body wouldn't heal. So where this would start to heal for another person in a week, 2 weeks, it's starting to heal. For him, it'll be a month, 2 months. Because the brain did not feel it. So it could not heal it. Because when the brain feels the pain, it sends a signal to the body, send the healing, send the scalp. We need the scalp. We need the blood to put that film over there to where it stop bleeding. Okay. Next, we need the scalp to come. All right. We need that scalp to get stronger. Okay. Eventually, that scalp gonna fall off. Okay. Now we need to redo the skin right there. Okay. We may have a scar here, ladies and gentlemen, but we got to go. We got to get there. All right. And now let's scar. All right. Let's keep adding more skin. We need to protect this area. This is what the brain is doing. We need to protect this area. Okay. Now we got a scar. But the skin is there. It's thicker than before. May not be as pretty as it was the first time, sir, but we got you covered. That's what the brain is doing. See, guess what? In order to heal it, you got to feel it. Pain is a healing agent. When you admit what you went through hurt, when you admit what you felt means something, and when you start to address it and do the work, that's when you start to heal. So understand this. You got to stop looking for shortcuts. Oh. You talking about we need coaching, but is there any way you could do a discount on your session? Because $275, ain't nobody got them $275 at all. Oh, but you got Tory Burch slides in 4 different colors. Oh, but you got all the Michael Kors purses. Oh, but you got all your Coach purses. And you want me to do what? Did you ask Michael Kors for a discount when you went to get that $300 purse? Okay. All right. Now, let me ask you. Now, that bag of them pair of shoes that you got, how much did that help you heal from that relationship? Okay. How many videos did it do to help you get over that relationship? Okay. What did that bag say to you about the man you trying to get over? Okay. You see what I'm saying? We want to take shortcuts. I say, man, I want to leave the streets. I want to start hustling. Being out here in these streets trying to get fast money. I want to tap into my gifts. I want to learn how to be a real man. You know what I did? I had these, my AirPods in the room. We ain't had AirPods back then. Had these right here. Took these here. Got on YouTube. Just like this right here. 10 hours a day. Some people write me in the comments, can you make your videos shorter? You ain't gonna get nowhere. You ain't gonna heal. I used to be just like this. I'll be at work. Somebody come to talk to me. What say? Okay, yeah, I got you. Or I work like this right here. 10 hours a day. 10 hours a day. I'm listening to speakers. The main one I used to really love was Zig Ziglar. I would listen to Zig Ziglar all day long. Just learning, just getting knowledge. I get off there. When I ain't listening there, I'm talking to my daddy. Just getting knowledge. Listen to audio books. I don't read books. I listen to books. Because the way my brain works, I read the same line 3-4 times. So I can't read a book. It's very painful for me. So I listen to the book. To the Bible, to a book. I listen to 10 hours. You see what I'm saying? I did the work. So people say, Tony, how did you change? I say, when you ever fed yourself knowledge 10 hours a day by audio? When you ever did that? Okay, you can't expect my results. When have you showed up and done the work? Every single day to build your brand. You showed up. When you ever sent 17 tweets a day? When you sent 17 tweets a day motivating others? When you posted 4 motivational posts a day on Facebook? 4 a day, 7 days a week. When you did that? When you did an hour video a day on YouTube? An hour a day, 7 days a week. When you did that, okay, you can't expect my results. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to you is, you saying, hey, Tony, I want to make it work. Tony, I want to have a woman's influence. How many sessions you did? How many books you done read or listened to? How many videos you done consumed? Okay, you can't expect the results me and my wife got if you ain't willing to go through no pain, if you ain't willing to sacrifice, if you ain't willing to do what it take to do, if you ain't willing to break that leash and move, you don't want healing. You don't want change. If you ain't willing to change churches, you don't want to grow. You ain't willing to go on my mentor.life and book a session with a coach. The coach could be $25 an hour. You don't got to book a session with me. I ain't saying go into debt. I ain't saying, skip your bills. That ain't what I'm saying. It's coaches on there $25, $35, $40 an hour. People complain about that. But guess what? You can't grow unless you sacrifice. Some gonna cost you time or money. And that's what you're gonna have to invest in. Your time and or your money to get the knowledge that you need, to get the wisdom that you need, and to help build the strength that you need to move forward. And you're going to need an accountability partner. You're going to need somebody that's going to hold you accountable. It might be a video. It might be me talking to you for free. So you don't have to bother your friend, stress her out or him out. You don't have to bother your mother, your father, whoever, but you're getting the new knowledge. And see, that's the thing. We want something for nothing. We say, oh, I want to heal. But I can't listen to a video for an hour. Oh, I want to heal, but I can't do this. Oh, I want to heal, but I can't invest in myself to start my own business, to start my blog, to start my coaching business, start helping other people from my mistakes, from my pain, from the lessons I done learned from this toxic relationship. I could be helping other women, other men, but I can't make that investment in myself. You don't want to change. You really don't want to move on. See, this what a lot of people do, and you got to make sure this ain't you. And I noticed this. A lot of people will come book a session of coaching just to say that they did some work. But they was already made up in their mind that they were not going to leave that person, or that they were going to go back to that person before the session even happened. They just did it just to go through the motions, to pat themselves on the back to say, hey, I did it. Hey, I did it, but we end up back together. You ain't do it. You didn't want to change. You didn't want to get over your ex. So see, a lot of time what a person will do, they'll come and tell you the whole story about their ex. They come in to tell you the whole story just so that because when they tell the story, they feel like they did something about it. Because they emptied it. They emptied it out on you. But then they go back to the person because they feel like they did something about it when they went and told somebody. They went and talked about it. And so I used to see that all the time. And I shot a video, I ain't posted though. A little 1-minute video for Instagram, and it was talking about basically what I was saying is stop stressing yourself about somebody else's relationship. Stop getting high and low and mad and angry when you trying to help somebody leave a toxic relationship, and they keep coming, dumping the whole story on you, dumping all their feelings, and you look up a month later, they right back with that person. Stop worrying about it. Stop worrying. You could be there, but don't take it personal. And the reason why I said that, because I used to go through that with my little sister. And I could literally be doing life today had I went through with some of the stuff she had me finna do over a guy that she was getting ready to go back. I remember one time I was out there and I went to a guy to get his tool to do a drive-by on my sister, baby daddy. And Jeff was gonna spray up his house. And guess what? Anything could have happened. But see, that's what I would do. That's the mindset that I was in and what I would do for somebody I love. And that's where I had come from. I had went into that. I had seen that. I had seen cousins and friends do the same thing for people they love. Just like what you see on a movie that come from real life. And so imagine today, me caring about my sister's relationship. Now her other baby daddy, the first one, they're from high school, because she just had long-term relationships. So she wasn't sleeping around, but she'll be with this guy for 5 years and get pregnant by him. And she'll be with this guy 5 years, 7 years, get pregnant by him. But it started when she was 16. So that's going to add up. The first guy, he was 6'5", 6'6". I seen him, I come out the shirt, squared up. We out there fighting. This man, what if this man would have drugged me? What if this man would have caught me one time in the temple? I could not be here today. I might not be here today. Then the second guy, what if if the guy went to get the scrap from, would have gave it to me? He just kind of laughed at me. No, man, come on now, T. No, man, don't, man, come on now. We'll handle this another way. But I was dead serious. I was all the way committed, locked in. And after that, I learned my lesson. I said, you know what? And she went back to him. I said, you know what? Never again. Never again. And I started telling my mom and dad, I said, listen, you might lose your daughter one day to these toxic relationships. But I don't care. I'm not helping no more. I ain't doing nothing. And I remember one time, and this is the thing, a lot of people say they want to change and don't want to change. And I was sacrificing. One time she tell me she done with this boy. She need to move. She want to go somewhere else. I paid $1,500 to $2,500 to move her from one apartment to another apartment. Think I'm doing a DV rescue. When I say DV, domestic, I think I'm doing a DV rescue. It wasn't 30 days. She had that boy living in an apartment that I paid for her to get into. Wow, fire hot. You hear me? So now, since then, and this was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. Since then, I don't do nothing. She dealing with a man I don't approve of, I don't do nothing. Don't bring him around me. I don't want to meet him, don't want to see him. And just straight like that. And she know that I'm real with mine. She know anything I say, she know I talk about her. And I done told her I talk about her on my video. She know it. She done come to my seminars and I'm talking about her. Because I tell the story. I use real life story. And this is a real life story for me. And I say this so that you understand that I done seen it. I done it all in relationships. I done seen it all. What I have not done, I done seen it, but ain't nothing I ain't done. I done been through every type of relationship you can have, from the worst, and now I got the best. The absolute best relationship in the world exists in this household. And I believe that. I don't believe nobody in the world got a better relationship than me and my wife. But guess what? I had to earn it. I had to go through all the worst. I had to see the worst. I talked to my sister last night and this morning, because she's single. She's a single mother of 3. Own her own business. I put her in position to get her own business. Got her own business, making good money now, living in a nice house, nice neighborhood, but she's single with 3 kids. It's hard being a single mom when you got kids, because now the men who coming in, you don't know what they're coming in for, because they don't see an advantage for them. So you don't know if they coming to live off you because you got a good job, making good money, and you got your own place to stay, and they need some help, or if they just want to sleep with you and then leave. So you won't know when you leave that relationship, when you break free and you get free of that toxic hole. That's when you got to go into the knowledge. That's why you got to get the knowledge. That's why you got to cut all ties so that you could see straight, you could see clearly, you could hear clearly, and you could be fed. Your spirit can be fed. And then when your spirit is fed and you get this knowledge, now when you move forward, you're able to peep game a whole lot sooner, a whole lot faster. You could peep the game and you say, I know what you're here for. Got to go. You hear what I'm saying? So think about this now, because I notice it's a lot of women out here looking like who shot John and forgot to kill him. Broke, busted, and disgusted over a no good, sorry man. This man don't deserve the draws he got on. And you stressing over him, crying over him, and you back and forth in his life. He could say anything, do anything, and you back and forth in his life. Listen, it's time to move on. It's time to put your big girl panties on and go on grow up, glow up, and go on about your business. Get the knowledge you need. You got the experience you need. You need to analyze it. And you need to make a mental note. You need to decide on strength. Decide that you're going to change and grow. And then get to going. And when you get to going, don't look back. Don't look back. Now, I cannot imagine more than 3 people made it to this point. But if you got here, put be blessed, I made it. And I really expect to see about 3 comments. And but I'm just curious to know who really doing the work. Who really out here doing the work. Hey, this is Tony Gaston. God bless you. We'll talk soon.